So just a little bit about my own background. I'm based from New York office of IBM. I joined IBM last year as open source solution engineer for analytics. So IBM has three big business units from product perspective. They have a cloud, data, and other type of industry solutions. I'm working in the sales organization, and when I got a job offer, I was a little bit surprised there's such a type of position open in IBM. Basically, my son told me, you're lucky, you get paid being taught. So I'm learning product every day and go to meetups and also clients, visiting clients to understand, to advocate technologies and also provide a POC or demos for customers' use case. Just one more comments on my job responsibility. IBM has been divided by focusing on different industry sectors, and my focus is healthcare, life science, and public. So I will just talk about my personal observation and the perspective of technology. If I have talked to different people, they all come from different backgrounds and it's different expectation of technologies. And there are companies I've been seeing that with data scientists like Facebook and Google, LinkedIn, they have a huge technology resource a platform, and they also have good data, so they also have data scientists working in that type of environment. My observation right now, I've been meeting a lot of, I guess two type of people. One is a lot of people who want to get into data science space. People from schools a lot when I go to those meetups. The other audience I've been meeting with is enterprise customers, which they come from traditional IT background and space. They're like a data warehouse guy, BI guy. When I go to a meeting room over there, sometimes hardly you can see one data scientist. And that's I think a good news and bad news. So. I think one comment on this one is I think a lot of people know already, because right now it's no secret. Everybody knows there's cool technology out there. The challenge is how to deploy that technology into your organization successfully. And that's what I call it. You do have data, but they're dark. You have to unlock that data. So we know that the last 5 years, people talk about big data. In the last 2-3 years, people talk about the cloud and AI and machine learning. That's what I call ABC. A is AI, B is big data, C is cloud. Cloud is big. Cloud is the computing. So we have a lot of cheap computing resources. Now you can just take your credit card and run a big data platform on the servers, which in the old days wouldn't be possible in enterprise, because enterprise running at the department structure. But that's for agility, because they're not going to have one platform for everyone. But with cloud, that's possible. Data, we all know that data is cheap to keep, at least. When I run the internet operation in the past, I have like 5 cluster servers to take the data coming in to sniff the network traffic. And that data we can only keep for 1 day. Today is possible. And for the most part, you can afford for it. We know algorithm hasn't been changed too much, but it's become so hard nowadays. And I think people who have the math background or statistics background, you're lucky. You have a potential to contribute and join this new technology revolution. So, but why not so many companies are using machine learning today? In my team, there's one guy, he used to be collateral trainer for data science. He traveled 5 different states for 5 years. He met a lot of customers. What he told me is majority of the enterprise, they are doing ETLs. They are not doing data science. Maybe in large companies, there's a department, they're research oriented, they're working on that. I'm talking about just, not Google, Facebook, okay? So I think, why, right? I think maybe we can take a look at number 4. I think technology has been changing so fast. The job requirement today could be much different than 5 years ago. And even that, number 2, it's hard to find people. If you go for a job application process, you know that they want 5 or 10 different things, and they're very expensive, right? So I think most of the companies are probably sit and wait because nobody wants to invest $5 million on technologies and they have to change after 2 years. Number 1, I will comment on that. I think from what I see, many of these, we talk about use case, machine learning use case, industry-wide, organization-wide, and a lot of organizations, because the people there are coming from the old traditional IT background, they don't have this machine learning mindset yet. But I think they are moving to that direction. But defining the problem they try to solve is still very challenging. I was in the conference 2 weeks ago in Boston. The guy told me what he's seeing is many of these use cases you can deploy in one organization is very hard to, you go to other organizations, you deploy those models and will be successful. It's not generic yet. Last but not least, and this is what I want to focus on today, is the platform. The platform is still very complex, very sophisticated. If you talk about enterprise, I think the larger Fortune 5 companies, they probably have 5,000 different types of systems they need to integrate with. That's not going to be easy. So I want to talk a little bit, this is a busy slide, I don't have time to talk about all these. What I want to focus on is the top 3 personnel. The roles in the organization. You call people data scientists, but what you do is a combination of different things. It's data engineering, data science, business analyst, and the developers. I have seen that I'll say 80% of the company I've been seeing, they're struggling over here. They haven't truly built a true enterprise data warehouse yet. Because of that, they don't get all the full 360-degree view of their enterprise data footprint here. But this is actually, ingestion is not easy. Ingestion means that you have to deal with a variety of different types, structured, unstructured, real-time batch, internal, external, front-end application and back-end database. So that is pretty hard. I think that's also company begin struggling with. I mean, the company I've been seeing. I want to talk about the last bucket a little bit. From IBM perspective, or probably it's not IBM, I think all the major IT vendors, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, you name it, they're actually doing the same thing. This is exactly the same thing they're doing. Just like 5 years ago, we have a big data, Hadoop, and Spark. Everybody doing the same thing. It's only about the user experience, the execution. So technology-wise, there's no secret. Let me go back to this. I want to talk about a little bit of Watson developer cloud API. Cloud, from what I understand, is lightweighted. and it's very much an API economy. If you have web services API, you can empower the developer to write applications in any programming language, and it's the modern way to develop applications. I think most of the companies, what I know of, they are moving to this space. There are going to be a large number of called cognitive APIs or services available on cloud, which wasn't be possible or available on-premise within enterprise inside a firewall. Because of this, what I believe is going to be much more data to be generated, much more application to be created, and more machine learning data-driven application required to accommodate this requirement. I was planning to give a little bit of demo or use case for healthcare use case, but because of time limitation, and I only show something I've been working with. So basically, right now, if you have web services, you could use those are Watson services, and you could create your web application or chatbot by talking to a patient or customer in any sense. The messenger is like a chatbot and can be in any way. It can be Facebook, can be WeChat, can be Slack. You know, the Cloud End is non-SQL database. Everybody has their own non-SQL database. Microsoft has theirs, Amazon has theirs, Google has theirs, IBM has ours. Yeah. So I want to talk about the data science. Just go back to this slide. Data science. We have a product called the data science experience. What it really means is give you an IDE on the cloud for data scientists to work with, and ultimately to work with other people or people in your team. You will have a web interface, give you community. Everybody doing the same. Microsoft doing the same. I think Microsoft pretty much close as what we do. Not Amazon also in some way. So community means that the web portal. Yeah, you can find the sample Python R notebooks. You can get blogs, understand industry trend and tutorials. Yeah, and then you can share the project. Use the sample application there. Open source. We have been seeing that why most of this major IT company no longer develop their proprietary solutions anymore, because nobody can beat open source. Open source has been very popular over the last 5 years. Also, if you ask me 10 years ago, maybe a lot of proprietary solutions were very popular. So particularly in data science space, people I think with R, Python, like we call it like classic data scientist programming language. But in enterprise, there are not many that people with that skill set. They can learn it, but it will be a little longer learning curve. But they could be Java person, and they can learn Scala faster than Python guy. There are a lot of SQL guys. 80% of workload in enterprise are SQL workload. They're not machine learning workload. So we give all the open source solution. You can write any programming language within the platform. Jupyter Notebook has been very popular. I was in the conference for the 3 days in Boston, and I see 70% of people use Jupyter Notebook like tools, whether deep learning or any demo they're doing, they're using Jupyter. They're probably like 10% are using Zeppelin, and maybe 20-30% like R. Yeah. I want to talk about Spark a little bit. Hadoop has been the legacy of big data, and I believe over the last 2-3 years, the Hadoop or analytics engine has totally get swapped out. Swapped out, I mean that the MapReduce, HDFS are no longer the modern way to dealing with big data. So Spark has been very popular, for the time being. IBM has invested, committed to invest in Spark in a big time. That's when I was hired. It's probably because of that money. So right now, if you know, Spark is open source, Apache open source, and the vendor is called Databricks. Those are the original contributors or committers for Spark. But right now, today, IBM is the #1 contributor for the code for Spark machine learning. #1, more than Databricks, because their investment. Overall, IBM is #2. Favorite libraries. We talk about a lot of technologies, and I think one of the challenges, no matter how fast you learn, there's somebody going to beat you. They develop something much better and faster, more productive than you are, and they can use their library to beat you. So, but you are not going to keep track of it, right? So, someone may help you to keep track of all these new products, libraries, R, Python, anything. So I want to talk a little bit on value added. Everybody doing the same thing, technically. I think that even they're not doing today, they're going to do tomorrow. Manage the Spark service. In my old days, I built a cluster. It took me like 5 weeks. Now 5 minutes. 5 minutes, so easy, right? But you no longer need to worry about it. It's lightweight, particularly in cloud. It's so easy. So all the enterprise understand it today. They all know that. No longer secret. But this empowered them to do something much agile. Wasn't possible before. 3 years ago wasn't possible. There are a couple features and functionalities I want to point out, but the project. Project is like a workspace. Do you know like Eclipse? Have you used Eclipse? Like Java Eclipse? Eclipse is the IBM open source, which I find a surprise. So basically you have a data science workspace, and I imagine in 5 years or 3 years, everybody will have very sophisticated IDE for data scientists. Right now it's still pretty, premature. But we have a project concept. Microsoft has some concept called experiment. Project really means you organize all the assets for your work. Catalog is kind of data lake. Enterprise today talk about data lake. What means data lake? Means you ingest all the raw data into a storage space. You catalog. So that's catalog. Data connect. I told you that the enterprise maybe have 500 or 5,000 IT systems. They use different products. You need to have connectors, JDBC, ODBC connectors. So all these on-premise cloud connectors, you have to have it. You cannot be behind. Otherwise, nobody will use your product. All these, you can use one click to share with your team. That's very powerful, right? It should be that way. Because right now, you're working on a individual development environment. You know everything, but how do you tell your boss, my notebook look like, right? Someone talked about the shiny R. Yeah. So I think to address enterprise talent issue, we have to empower, and vendors already realize we have to empower those business analysts, SQL guy or Java guy, and they're doing it, and everybody's doing it. We're going to train them big time. They're going to learn this. Now, how do you do that? To start with, give them something easy to use. So we have a model builder, Canvas, and then API. Once we have one set of API ready, you just maintain that API. I don't care what programming language you're going to use. And it's modern, right? It's modern. And people buy modern technologies. They don't buy yesterday technologies. They are not stupid, right? So, one more thing. I think the cloud competition is already, in my opinion, halfway, 80% over. IBM probably won't be as competitive as the other three leaders. However, IBM has decided to focus on hybrid cloud. Hybrid cloud means that probably still 80% of enterprise data is within the firewall today, and they're running on large databases there. So we provide a cloud solution to start with, and we also have a desktop solution you could run on your CPU and laptop, and we have a local deployment. What is local? Local is not a conventional local. Local means, and I think today the modern development start with cloud, then come back to firewall. So right now we develop this product on cloud, and next, and we just released last month, then this is going to be deployable within the firewall with Docker containers. If you have a private cloud, you can use it just like on the cloud. I don't know how much. Just one quick slide, because now my title has been changed since last 2 weeks. I changed my title. My title is Cloud Solution and Architect. And it used to be like Open Source Analytics Engineer. So I need to understand what's happening from cloud perspective. But this is actually not just cloud. This one has a lot of conventional SaaS, SPSS, and the large and small vendors. But I think the trend is you have people like coming from open source, they're programmer oriented, and you have on the other side like a workbench, GUI driven. If you talk to an open source guy, can you use GUI? He said, forget it. Okay. You want to take the picture?
I do.
Okay.
Nice slide for beginner learning.
Remember, this is going to change every 3 months.
I know.
Okay, this is the fabric, and actually you can see IBM. Every time Gartner publish a market research report, they make a lot of people unhappy. Why did you put me there? But yes, this is still give you some perspective of what the vendors look like. And I tell you, H2O is very hot today. Means that you have Jupyter, you have R, but you can boom drop this in. Yeah. Yeah. Everybody have different opinion on this because IBM is leader actually. So if IBM is not leader, I will have more opinion on it. Okay. I give a little more slide on this because I was sitting this morning and afternoon. I realized, I'm going to talk about everybody knows already. Okay. Anyway, I want to talk about the Cloudera a little bit. Cloudera just went public, and it's their big data, their Hadoop, they're also Spark now, but they are not going to be as a major contender in this space because if you don't play cloud, you're going to be a very small player. And in the future, probably 3 or 4 computers in the world, from US perspective. Why? Because remember that chart on the right side, that API web services economy, right? You have to integrate your machine learning ecosystem or data platform into a much bigger ecosystem. Okay, I can talk a little bit on this because I get this type of question a lot. Everybody asking, what's the difference between Microsoft and Google and AWS? But depends on what you want to do, right? But I indeed play with many of them, but not all of them. I have credit for one thing, I got this job from IBM because I did the majority of the AWS use cases, and they're all public. I did majority of the machine learning and big data use cases in 3 months. I'm learning Azure. I think Azure is probably the #1 contender with IBM because they have a large footprint within enterprise. They have Microsoft, BI solution, database solution, data warehouse solution, everything, right? IBM same. IBM have very long product line. Everything, they cover everything. But Azure, what I think they've been very similar with IBM product roadmap. They have particularly strong in this GUI-driven user interface. They have OpenCV and they have different libraries you can deploy machine learning model or services just with one click. Google also, Google from cloud perspective, they're probably behind of IBM, but I think they're going to exceed IBM given the momentum they have. AWS is probably 13 billion this year or 14. Microsoft 3 billion. They are probably under 2 billion. But they market their cloud product as price very competitive, and their